When the Philippine Navy received the BRP Conrado Yap PS-39 from South Korea in 2019, it might have seemed at first like just another second-hand warship transfer. After all, the ship was not brand new. It had already served for nearly 3 decades with the Republic of Korea Navy as Rokeas Chungju, one of the numerous Pohang-class corvettes. Yet for the Philippines, the acquisition of this 1,200-ton vessel was much more than a token gesture. It represented a symbolic and practical bridge between a past defined by World War II-era relics and a future shaped by modern warships, like the Jose Rizal-class frigates. The Conrado Yap embodies both the challenges and aspirations of a navy struggling to remain relevant in one of the most contested maritime zones on Earth. To appreciate why this ship matters, it is worth briefly revisiting the state of the Philippine fleet before its arrival. For decades, the Navy relied on increasingly obsolete vessels, many of them former U.S. Navy ships dating back to the 1940s. The BRP Raja Humabon, decommissioned only in 2018, had been one of the world's oldest active warships, a destroyer escort from World War II still afloat in the 21st century. Such vessels were ill-suited for modern naval operations, lacking anti-submarine capability, modern sensors, or credible deterrent value. In essence, the Philippine Navy was not equipped to handle even low-intensity challenges at sea, much less confront the growing assertiveness of China in the West Philippine Sea. Enter BRP Conrado Yap. Although not a cutting-edge platform, the Pohang-class was designed for coastal defense, with an emphasis on anti-submarine warfare. Its specifications are modest compared to larger frigates, but for the Philippine Navy, it was a quantum leap forward. The ship displaces roughly 1,200 tons, can reach speeds of 32 knots, and operates with a crew of around 100. Its armament includes an Otomalara 76mm naval gun, twin 40mm anti-aircraft guns, torpedo launchers, and anti-submarine sensors, such as sonar. What made the vessel significant was not just its weapons, but the entirely new operational capacity it introduced. For the first time in decades, the Philippines had a ship with meaningful anti-submarine warfare capability. This feature is especially critical when viewed against the maritime realities of Southeast Asia. The South China Sea is increasingly populated by submarines from regional powers, including China and Vietnam. The Philippines had virtually no tools to detect, track, or deter submarines operating in its waters. While the Conrado Yap cannot single-handedly change this balance, it offers a training platform, a deterrent signal, and a stepping stone toward developing a more robust anti-submarine warfare doctrine. It allows Filipino sailors to practice skills that will later be applied to more advanced vessels. Strategically, the Conrado Yap has been deployed in precisely the areas that matter most: patrols in the West Philippine Sea, freedom of navigation operations, and joint exercises with allies. Its presence is less about raw combat power and more about signaling. To China, it conveys that the Philippines is incrementally improving its ability to project presence. To allies like the United States, Japan, and Australia, it shows that Manila is serious about building even a modest deterrent capacity. To South Korea, the donation itself was a diplomatic move, strengthening defense ties and paving the way for future arms sales, such as the Jose Rizal-class frigates and potentially even submarines. The symbolic dimension should not be underestimated. In the Philippines, naval modernization has often been slow and plagued by budgetary constraints. Receiving the Conrado Yap allowed the government to claim progress, boost morale, and present a tangible example of modernization to the public. For a Navy long mocked as a Coast Guard with bigger boats, even one corvette can alter perceptions. Yet limitations remain stark. The ship is still a corvette nearing the end of its service life, with no modern air defense system and limited endurance compared to larger warships. It is not capable of going toe-to-toe with a modern Chinese frigate or destroyer. Its operational utility lies in presence, patrol, and training, not in high-intensity conflict. In any serious clash, the Conrado Yap would be vulnerable. This reality underscores both the progress and the fragility of Philippine naval modernization. Comparisons with earlier vessels like the Raja Humaban highlight just how far the Navy has come, even with a single platform. The Raja Humaban was essentially a floating museum piece by the time it was retired. In contrast, the Conrado Yap can at least contribute to anti-submarine patrols, joint operations, and credible deterrence. The contrast between these two ships, one a relic of World War II, the other a Cold War-era corvette still capable of modern missions, illustrates the transitional phase of the Philippine Navy. The broader picture is that the Conrado Yap represents more than itself. It is a bridge between eras. On one side are the old US-donated relics that lingered for too long. On the other side are the newly built Jose Rizal-class frigates, equipped with modern sensors, missiles, and growth potential. The Conrado Yap sits between these, serving as a necessary stepping stone in capability development. Its significance is less about the hardware and more about the trajectory it represents. The Philippines is moving, however haltingly, toward a real navy. This trajectory also illustrates the geopolitical nature of naval procurement. The donation was not just about Seoul disposing of an old ship, but about cementing South Korea's role as a key defense partner. Today, South Korea is one of the Philippines' most important suppliers, providing not only ships, but also aircraft and potentially missile systems. The Conrado Yap, therefore, is also a symbol of alliance building in an Indo-Pacific increasingly shaped by great power competition. In conclusion, BRP Conrado Yap matters not because it is a game-changing weapon, but because it represents progress. For the Philippine Navy, progress has often come in small steps, and each step is vital. The ship embodies the transition from irrelevance toward modest deterrence. It allows sailors to train for missions they could not even attempt before. It signals resolve in the West Philippine Sea, and it links the Philippines more closely with allies committed to maintaining a balance of power in the region. Like many military platforms, its greatest value may lie not in its ability to fight, but in what it represents: the determination of a small navy to carve out space for itself in a dangerous maritime environment. The Conrado Yap is not the end goal, but it is a milestone. And milestones matter, especially when the alternative is standing still while the strategic tides shift all around you. So, the next time one sees the silhouette of this Pohang-class corvette on the horizon, it should not be dismissed as an old second-hand ship. Instead, it should be recognized for what it is: a bridge across decades of neglect, a signal of intent, and a small but meaningful step toward a stronger and more capable Philippine Navy.